When Elon Musk arrived in North America, he wasn't a millionaire. He wasn't even middle class. He was just a skinny 17-year-old with a dream and barely a few $100s in his pocket. He landed in Canada with no permanent home, no job, and no connections. His first nights were spent on relatives' couches, rotating from one place to another. He was technically homeless, not in the streets, but with no stability, no roots, and no safety net. To survive, he took whatever jobs he could get, shoveling dirt, cleaning boilers in brutal winter cold for $18 an hour. A job so dirty and exhausting, most people quit after one shift. But Elon kept going. He worked on farms and lumber mills and even cut logs in frozen forests. It was brutal. It was lonely. But he never complained. He saw pain as the price of progress. He lived in youth hostels. He showered at the YMCA. He bought secondhand clothes and lived off cheap hot dogs and oranges. At night, he'd read science fiction and physics textbooks by flashlight. He never stopped learning. While other kids partied, Elon calculated rocket trajectories and read about energy systems. His world was falling apart, but his mind was building a future. After scraping together enough money and securing a scholarship, Elon entered Queen's University and later transferred to the University of Pennsylvania. Even then, his life didn't get much easier. He shared a tiny apartment with his brother Kimball. They were so poor that instead of paying rent and rent for an office separately, they lived in their startup office, sleeping on a beanbag, using the shared bathroom down the hall. They couldn't afford furniture. They coded all night and napped during the day. They took turns sleeping so someone was always awake, working on Zip2, their first company. To eat, they bought pasta in bulk and cooked it in a single pot with tomato sauce. Elon said he lived on less than $1 a day at one point. He once said, "I figured I could live on almost nothing. I just needed books, a laptop, and some peanut butter sandwiches. I didn't care about comfort. I cared about building." He wasn't chasing luxury. He was chasing purpose. When Zip2 finally sold, Elon made his first real money, $22 million. For the first time, he could breathe. But he didn't stop. He immediately put most of that into his next company, X.com, which would become PayPal. After PayPal sold to eBay, Elon made $180 million. And then he did something almost no one would dare to do. He bet everything again. He poured $100 million into SpaceX, $70 million into Tesla, $10 million into Solar City. He left himself with nothing. By 2008, the world economy was crashing. Tesla was bleeding cash. Rockets at SpaceX were exploding on the launch pad. Elon was divorced, living on borrowed money, and publicly mocked by the media. He wasn't just broke. He was broken. He admitted that Christmas of 2008 was the lowest point of his life. But he didn't stop. He never stopped. He sold jewelry, cashed out investments, and maxed out credit cards to keep Tesla alive. He spent sleepless nights at the factory. He would sleep under his desk or in a conference room, just like he had during his startup days. Employees said they'd find him in the corner at 4 a.m., still answering emails, exhausted but relentless. "Failure," he once said, "is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough." Then, everything changed. On December 23, 2008, NASA called. They had awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. That one phone call saved SpaceX, and it saved Tesla too. The companies began to grow, and grow, and grow. By 2012, SpaceX became the first private company to dock with the ISS. By 2013, Tesla was turning a profit. By 2020, Elon Musk became the richest man in the world. But even as a billionaire, Elon kept living like a startup founder. He sold his mansions. He slept on friends' couches while visiting Tesla or SpaceX sites. He once revealed, "I don't even own a house. I crash with friends. I sleep on the factory floor." Why? Because comfort was never the goal. The mission always came first. From homeless teen to richest man on earth, Musk's story is not just about technology. It's about pain, sacrifice, obsession, and the unshakable belief that the future can be built by those who are crazy enough not to give up. Would you like this extended section integrated directly into a full documentary script or used as a SEPA? By the time the world recognized Elon Musk as the richest man alive, he had already endured more failures, betrayals, and near-death collapses than most billionaires would ever admit. But to Musk, wealth was not a finish line. It was just another tool, a means to reach Mars, a lever to change history. Even after building Tesla into a trillion-dollar company and launching reusable rockets with SpaceX, Musk kept pushing boundaries. He took on legacy car makers. He challenged NASA. He taunted oil giants. And he did it with a kind of reckless confidence that terrified his enemies and inspired a generation. But success came at a cost. Musk's obsession with work alienated partners, broke marriages, and pushed employees to their limits. He demanded 100-hour weeks. He fired people in the middle of meetings. He expected perfection, and when he didn't get it, he built it himself. Many called him impossible. Others called him a genius. Both were right. He once told a journalist, "I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies. I create them to solve problems." And he did in every direction. When internet banking was clumsy and fragmented, he created PayPal. When space travel was limited to governments, he built SpaceX. When electric cars were a joke, he made Tesla a global powerhouse. When traffic overwhelmed cities, he started the Boring Company. When AI posed a threat to humanity, he co-founded OpenAI. When the human brain seemed unreachable, he launched Neuralink. Every time the world said impossible, Musk saw an opening, but the pressure never left him. During Tesla's Model 3 production in 2018, Musk nearly broke down. He slept on the factory floor, working 20 hours a day, refusing to go home. He later admitted, "This has been the most painful year of my career." He lived inside the machine he was building. Despite scandals, lawsuits, media attacks, and public meltdowns, including erratic tweets and confrontational interviews, Musk kept moving. To him, failure was a pit stop. Critics were background noise. He lived in the future, often alone. Yet despite the chaos, people followed him, not just because he was rich, but because he was real. He risked his own fortune. He showed up in the trenches. He was the rare billionaire who built the damn thing himself. And perhaps that's what made his story so magnetic. Because Elon Musk wasn't born into Silicon Valley. He didn't inherit a company. He didn't sit in a glass tower giving orders. He slept on the floor. He coded through the night. He bet everything at a Gullenjanananum, Jurimermananan, Hudihan again and again, until there was nothing left to lose. And somehow he won. He became more than an entrepreneur. He became a symbol of relentless ambition, of fearless vision, of the impossible made real. Legacy. As of today, Elon Musk's companies touch nearly every part of modern life. Tesla dominates the electric vehicle market. SpaceX launches astronauts into orbit and is building the first ship to Mars. Starlink beams internet to remote villages, war zones, and isolated islands. Neuralink tests brain-machine interfaces that could redefine medicine. The Boring Company is digging beneath cities to build the future of transport. And still, he's not finished. Musk has said he wants to die on Mars, just not on impact. He wants to make humans a multi-planetary species. He wants AI to be safe. He wants civilization to survive. He once said, "I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." And that's exactly what he did. From a boy in South Africa bullied for being too quiet, to a teenager sleeping on floors in Canada, to a homeless coder with nothing but ideas, to a man who built rockets and drove humanity closer to the stars, Elon Musk didn't just chase the future, he dragged it into the present, the storm of attention. By the early 2000s and 20s, Elon Musk was no longer just a tech CEO. He had become a global phenomenon, praised, mocked, worshipped, and vilified. Every tweet he posted could shake stock markets, disrupt industries, or ignite political firestorms. He took over Twitter itself in 2022, rebranding it later as X. For some, it was a bold step into the future of free speech and tech integration. For others, it was a chaotic gamble. Musk's management style, rapid firings, and controversial policies shocked the public. But behind the chaos was his usual method: destroy and rebuild. He didn't just want to own Twitter, he wanted to transform it into an everything app: banking, messaging, streaming, commerce, all in one. The idea sounded insane to many, but people had said the same about electric cars and Mars rockets. He never listened. Whether launching satellites, investing in AI, or giving updates on colonizing Mars, Musk stayed in the spotlight, and the pressure intensified. Governments began scrutinizing him. Critics claimed he had too much power. Regulators questioned Tesla's autopilot safety. Labor activists attacked his harsh factory conditions. Journalists probed his influence over space technology and warfare, especially when Starlink was used in Ukraine. Musk didn't back down. He taunted the media. He fired back at politicians. He joked that he'd rather be useful than popular. And people kept following him. Not just fans, but the world itself. Because even when Musk stirred outrage, he moved the needle. He created the future in real time. A man divided, but behind the ambition lived a man who seemed increasingly alone. Divorced, sleep-deprived, working across continents, struggling to balance 10 companies, multiple children, and global pressure. His closest allies came and went. Some called him unbearable. Others called him irreplaceable. He seemed addicted to movement, never still, never satisfied. When Tesla hit records, he talked about colonizing Mars. When SpaceX launched astronauts, he warned about AI extinction. When asked why he kept pushing, his answer was simple: if I don't, who will? The Mars obsession. His dream of Mars wasn't just a headline. He genuinely believed Earth was fragile. Pandemics, wars, climate collapse, rogue AI. To Musk, all were signs that humanity needed a backup plan. SpaceX's Starship, the largest rocket ever built, became the centerpiece of that plan. He poured billions into it. He micromanaged designs. He slept near the launch pads. And despite explosions and setbacks, progress continued. In interviews, Musk sometimes sounded more like a philosopher than a CEO. Being a multiplanetary species, he said, is life insurance for consciousness. To most, it sounded grandiose. To Musk, it was survival, the cost of genius. By 2025, Musk had become the richest and most polarizing man alive, loved by millions, hated by many, and impossible to ignore. His name was etched into every conversation about the future of will AI destroy us? Ask Musk. Will humans reach Mars? Ask Musk. Will we survive the century? Ask Musk. But behind the myth was a man shaped by trauma, risk, and isolation. Someone who never truly fit in, who turned childhood pain into rocket fuel, who sacrificed normal life to build something bigger. He once said, "I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right." That optimism, reckless, raw, and relentless, is what drove him from sleeping on a couch to steering the destiny of civilization. By the year 2040, Elon Musk had already achieved more than most could fathom in a lifetime. He was no longer simply the CEO of multiple companies, but an unstoppable force in the world of technology, space exploration, and AI. His life had become a whirlwind of projects, but his mind, once hyper-focused on the next big thing, began to wander into new territories. Musk's new obsession wasn't just the future of humanity in space or the next frontier in AI. It was the brain itself. He started investing heavily in neural interfaces, working on a way to map the human brain in its entirety, to digitize human consciousness. He believed that while technology could change everything on Earth, preserving human thought, capturing the essence of being, was the true challenge. Not just building for tomorrow, but ensuring humans could live on forever, in some form. The quiet shift. As his companies grew and thrived, Musk became increasingly reclusive. He disappeared from the public eye, giving fewer interviews, avoiding the spotlight he had once sought. Instead, he locked himself away in his lab, a remote high-tech facility hidden beneath Nevada's vast desert. His teams were tight-lipped about his work, but rumors swirled. Musk was said to be developing technology not just for the mind, but for the soul, something beyond traditional AI. No one knew the full scope of his ambitions. His employees claimed that Musk was on the verge of a breakthrough. There were whispers that he had begun experimenting with the idea of uploading human minds, a form of immortality where thoughts, memories, and personality could exist without a body. The world didn't know whether to view this as another of Musk's grand, insane ideas or the next stage of human evolution. The disappearance. In the late 2040s, Elon Musk stopped appearing at any public events. No more conferences, no more tweets, no more interviews. His companies continued operating, his vision still driving their progress. Yet the world's most famous billionaire seemed to vanish from existence. Then one day his X, formerly Twitter, account posted a cryptic message, a single line of text. "If you're reading this, I'm still out there." just not how you think. After that, there was no sign of him. No one could reach him. Musk had become a mystery, his presence now more elusive than ever before. The last project. Musk's final project, dubbed Continuum, was one of his most secretive and enigmatic. Some believed it was his attempt to transfer his consciousness into an AI framework, a machine capable of thinking and evolving like a human, but with the potential for immortality. Others suspected that he had built something far more advanced, something that blurred the lines between reality and the digital world. No one knew for sure. There were no more updates, no more leaks. His lab's location remained classified, and employees who had once worked with Musk either left the company or fell silent. But despite all the mystery surrounding him, there was one constant. The companies he had built, SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and others, continued to innovate at breakneck speed. Each breakthrough, each new launch seemed to carry a piece of Musk's DNA. His absence was felt in the absence of his direct involvement, but his presence was still undeniably woven into the fabric of his empire. And in the years that followed, his work continued to push humanity toward new boundaries. Mars became a destination not just for exploration, but for settlement. Tesla cars became fully autonomous. SpaceX missions began exploring moons in deep space, all following Musk's blueprint. The unknown. In the years after Musk's disappearance, rumors continued to spread. Some believed he had uploaded his consciousness into a machine and was still out there, somewhere in cyberspace. Others thought he had created something so advanced that it could not be understood by the average person. Some even claimed that Musk had long since moved past physical existence, existing only as an intelligence that operated in the background of the world. But one thing was certain. Elon Musk, the man who started as a boy with nothing but a vision, had left behind something bigger than any single achievement. He had forever altered the trajectory of humanity, making what was once thought impossible into the realm of reality.